The West Australian government has just released a 60 million Australian dollar EV package, but it ain't all good. So here's the media statement release. WA's climate action efforts accelerate with a $60 million EV package. That's Australian dollars. And that was released today, Tuesday, the 10th of May. So just going through it slowly. They're trying to do something on climate action, which is good. And they've launched a $60 million clean energy car fund. So the first $36.5 million is for $3,500 rebates on the purchase of electric and hydrogen vehicles. Now this actually makes WA one of the better states to live in as far as subsidies go. The downside is that they're only going to give 10,000 rebates, which in my book comes to $35 million, but they've allocated 36.5 million. So where's that other 1.5 million gone? I don't know. Perhaps you can tell me. But the downside is it's only for vehicles up to the value of $70,000. But it is from today, the 10th of May. But there aren't too many vehicles available in Western Australia under $70,000. That might include the new BYD Atto 3 and a couple of others, such as maybe the Tesla Model 3 rear-wheel drive. But I suppose $3,500 is okay. So next, they've allocated 22.6 million to increase EV charging structure. So if we have a look here, we've got 10 million to support not-for-profits and small and medium-sized businesses with grants of up to 50% of the installation charges. 5 million to support local governments installing charging infrastructure by providing 50% grants of the actual cost. 4 million for the Public Transport Authority, which manages the buses and trains, to trial the installation of electric vehicle charging infrastructure at 4 train stations. 4, that's not a lot. And they will provide up to 20 bays per car park with commuter charging access. So they're going to put in 20 bays, and most of these train stations, the car park's full by 6 o'clock in the morning with workers going to work. So I'm sure they're going to be iced pretty bloody quickly. I did discuss with the Minister of Environment last week about putting labels on these saying they're for EV charging only and fines if you're an ICE vehicle, etc. But it's not in this statement. And lastly, more than 2.9 million in 8 new charging stations across 4 locations. That's going to be 2 charging stations at each location on average, across National Highway 1, which is between Norseman and Eucla. Now that is known in Australia as the Nullarbor, and it's a vast expanse of roadway that goes across the southern end of Australia into South Australia. So just to give you an idea, here is Norseman. That is Eucla. That is the South Australian border. So that's Perth. We've already been promised infrastructure and charging points all the way down from Perth to Esperance and all the way up here to Kununurra. But now they're also adding in Norseman to Eucla. So they're going to put in 4 charging stations. The Norseman to Eucla is, according to Google Maps, 709 kilometres. So if they're going to put in 4 stations, there'll be one at Eucla. I think there's already going to be one at Norseman in the previous announcement. So that will mean another 2 or 3 there. So if you go every 200 kilometres, we'll get 3 in that zone, plus 1 at Eucla. So that won't be too bad. It's going to make it easier to go across there. At the moment, it's not the easiest thing in the world. We have had some interesting parties, such as the Australian Electric Vehicle Association, the Tesla Owners Club of Australia and Tesla Owners Club of Western Australia, have managed to install some DC chargers across there. They're 22 kilowatts, a few of them, but that does help improve it. So the state government putting in these chargers, I'm not sure what speed they'll be. Knowing them, they'll be 50 kilowatt chargers, but it's a start. So that all sounds pretty good, but now we get the shit. In line with other states, WA will introduce a distance-based road user charge for zero and low emission vehicles. It's not going to start until the 1st July 2027, so that's 5 years away, and it will ensure all motorists pay their fair share towards the maintenance and construction of our WA roads. Well, yeah, sure. Currently, the fuel excise on petrol and diesel and so on goes into federal coffers, and it goes into general funds. It does not go into road repairs and so on. But the state governments do get some money from general funds for roads. So all they're trying to do here is get the cream of the crop here. So just like everywhere else, they're going to have a base rate of 2.5 cents per kilometre for electric and hydrogen vehicles. Now, they haven't actually mentioned anything about plug-in hybrids here, which I think places like Victoria have got 2 cents per kilometre for a plug-in hybrid, which is ridiculous because they end up paying 3 times the tax of any other car. But here's the other shit. It's going to be indexed to the CPI, Consumer Price Index. So that's going to go up and up and up. And they're going to spend $200,000 to develop options and systems for monitoring and collecting this future road charge. Duh. They're going to put another 31 million in allocated for climate action research and planning to support various initiatives that will assist the state government agencies with reducing carbon emissions. I suppose that's a good thing. That will include develop and implement strategies to reduce emissions in agriculture, freight, regional heavy transport. I can tell you how to do that right now. Develop more carbon farming projects on government managed land. They're going to farm carbon. Do they mean carbon capture and storage, which no one's managed to do properly yet? Climate risk assessments, reporting, and I can tell you what the climate risk is. It's shit if you don't do something about your carbon emissions. Fund specialist research to inform the strategy to transition the public transport authority's bus fleet to electric. Just look at what other countries have done. Shenzhen, Israel, Norway. They've got electric buses. They bloody work. But no, they're going to do specialist research. This is typical government bullshit, in my opinion. And they're going to expand the West Australian Carbon Dioxide Geological Storage Atlas. If you know what that means, please tell me, because I've got no bloody idea. So there you have it, a quick summary on the West Australian EV strategy. Some of it's good, charging infrastructure, incentives. Some of it's just plain bad. Taxing EVs, it's a disincentive. We need to get them up, numbers up a lot. And 3,500 for 10,000 vehicles is not going to do a whole heap. And some of it's just downright stupid. Put your comments down below, please. I'd be interested to hear them. As I said, there's some good and there's some shit. Thanks very much for watching. Please click the like and subscribe button. Appreciate it.